Ladies and gentlemen, dreamers and doers, entrepreneurs of all ages, welcome back to Kinetic Customs. So, last night we did our first ever live stream on Twitch, so if you're not following us on Twitch, head over to the link right here and get subscribed. But in that live stream, I got to design some really cool sneakers, and we had some people stop by and say hello, thank you to all those who watched. But in the live stream, we created 3 shoes from one of my favorite games of all time, Starcraft. Now each of these 3 shoes is assigned to one of the races that you can play for in the game Starcraft. So there's the Protoss, the Zerg, and the Terran. To kick things off, we're going to start with my favorite race, the Protoss. I'm a Protoss player by choice, and I designed a really awesome shoe using the Adidas NMD R1 silhouette, which I'll put right here, and we'll get into a time lapse here in a second, but I just have so much love for the game of StarCraft. I remember growing up, I would head over to a friend's house, and his dad was always playing Brood War, this game called StarCraft Brood War. And it was so cool because he was going at it, he had like 200 or 300 APM, and he was just clicking all over the place. It was all sorts of nutso, and it was really cool to watch. From there, I grew up. I played a couple of other Blizzard games. I love Blizzard as well. But then when I was in my senior year of high school, around 2012, a little game called Wings of Liberty came out. And I had a good friend who challenged me to play StarCraft a lot, and I was terrible to start off with, but as I learned the game, I started to get a feel for each of the races, and Protoss just made sense. So I figured it was a great opportunity to pay homage to the amazing race of aliens from the planet AIUR by doing a shoe tribute to them. So without further ado, let's kick into the time lapse.
Alrighty, ladies and gents, welcome to the time lapse here. You can see I start out with my base image that I just showed you guys of this Adidas NMD R1. Very nice shoe, very fun silhouette to kind of build on. Like I mentioned in the intro, the shoe kind of harkens back to some of Adidas's earlier shoes, like the Stan Smith and the Superstar with the 3 stripes, but it's got some more modern styles to it. You can see it has some angles to it, and it looks kind of future-y, but still kind of classic at the same time. Starting off, I'm just laying down a base layer of blue for the upper part of the shoe, and then I'm actually cutting out the white here, because the white laces pop against the blue, and in every custom that I do, I actually use white laces. It's kind of a trademark, I guess you could call it. And then I get into the process of doing the lower, and you can notice that I sort of paint with a broad brush just to cover the whole area, and then I go in and I erase around the edges and then cut out basically the parts that I don't want and erase those. So it's better to paint with a broad brush and cover everything versus spend hours trying to color in everything by hand. So here we are. You can see I kind of erased the sole, because the sole on the shoe is actually white and it pops against the yellow there, so I left the bottommost part of the shoe, the sole, the same, but the lower is gold. As you can see, the Protoss primary colors are blue and yellow, or this gold color, so I decided to stick with that motif. And here I am cleaning up the accent pieces here. I call this piece on the back the grill, I guess you can say. It looks like a barbecue grill or a grate, and then the front part obviously has the Adidas logo on it. So I decided to keep those white just to give it a pop. You can see the accent colors on this are white, so you have a primary color of blue, a secondary color of gold, and the accent color is white. So you can usually find a lot of, not even just custom shoes, just regular shoes, they'll have a primary, secondary, and an accent color. That's just a basic rule of aesthetics there. I decided to do the back part in a gold as well, but I did it on a separate layer just because plastic is a little bit better at taking color than mesh, so it looks a little bit more opaque when you paint over it. So I wanted to put it on a different layer so that I could tweak the opacity as I'm doing right here. And then I realized that I didn't erase the layer underneath it. There was actually a layer of blue underneath it, so once I erased that, it really started to pop. And as you can see, the shoe starts to come together here, and we have these little accent lines that kind of run over the toe of the shoe. Well, not the toe of the shoe, but like the part where the laces meet the rest of the shoe, and up and around the ankle hole. So I believe I paint these in gold, and I should start on that here in a second. Yep, there we go. Again, painting with a broad brush, just covering it with as much color as I can. Then you go and adjust the opacity, and you can erase the overlap and get this really nice clean line. Had a couple of had a little bit of trouble getting around that curve over there just because I was working with a mouse and not a tablet, but after that, got that cleaned up, did some finishing touches on the yellow here, and played with the opacity just a little bit. Deleted the yellow or the white layer underneath as well so that the yellow really pops. And yeah, the shoe is definitely starting to come together. Sorry for the sniffles. It's my allergies acting up. It's starting to become fall here in Texas, and pollen is everywhere. So I'm using the smudge tool to just kind of fill in the areas where I may have overshot or I erased part of the blue that I didn't mean to. And then there's these little lace locks. They're a good piece of plastic as well, and they're worthy of an accent color, so I decided to do those gold as well. So I'm just cleaning up that line work there. And then, after that is done, I decide that I want to add just something a little bit extra, because right now it's just a blue and gold shoe, but we have to make this a Protoss shoe. You can see some chat there from my Twitch. I had a couple people check in, and it was a lot of fun. I met a lot of really cool people trying to find the right tool here. I meant to use the smudge tool, but I was using the magic eraser just then. But then I find the smudge tool and I kind of smudge that out, and I decided to write Protoss across the front, so that way you know it's the Protoss shoe and it's not just some blue and gold shoe. So I turn that guy around, got another sub there, and then the final touch, I go on and I find the Protoss logo. And I played around with where I wanted to put it. I originally wanted to put it on the grill, but it didn't work. It was just way too small and not pronounced enough, so I tried it on a couple different areas, and since this was the first shoe, you'll see this motif kind of repeated, but when I end up placing the logo, it's actually on the front toe box, right there actually. And so I decided to use that through the rest of the shoes, and the Zerg shoe and the Terran shoe, which we'll have a video here separately soon, but all that said and done, I cropped the photo down, I inserted the Kinetic logo, and we have ourselves a shoe. A little bit of flavor text there too.